Hey everyone, Liam here and welcome to this match preview prediction for the match between Jakub Mensik and Francisco Cerundolo in the quarterfinals of the Madrid Open. Let's get into it. Before we get into the video, as always, if you enjoy the content on the channel, please like and subscribe. It really helps to grow the quality shot tennis community. Well, we've got a matchup between obviously a young and rising star quite considerably here on the ATP Tour in Jakub Mensik. Great season so far, beating the likes of Novak Djokovic to win the Miami Open. I mean, he is definitely, I think, one of the players who was most underrated last season. Going into the next gen finals, there was all the talk about Fonseca, and Mensik is one of those players who, obviously he's got a year or so more ahead compared to Fonseca, but he's just got a great all-round game already. I mean, he seems so composed in big moments on big stages, and I hope to see for the rest of the season and for obviously the rest of his career, some amazing tennis that allows him to sort of get into the top 10, top 5 and win some really, really big tournaments. Of course, he's already won a big one in Miami, but I'm sure there's more to come. Here in Madrid, he's played really well as well. Of course, he hasn't had to face, I would say, maybe the likes of Andrei Rublev in the round of 16. He had to play Alexander Bublik instead, but Bublik, sometimes he can bring his A game, sometimes he can't, but he always brings, I guess, a little bit of uncertainty in a match just because you don't really know what to expect from him next. And the way that Mensik handled that match from start to finish, took everything that Bublik was throwing at him, whether it was an underarm serve, whether it was, just some weird shots or, quirky shots. He handled everything perfectly, and it just showed in that straight sets victory that he was composed and just focused on winning the match. Coming into this one, of course, he's facing against Francisco Cerundolo, who on clay, amazing player. On many surfaces, amazing player, but on clay especially, that's his best surface. Just coming off a win against Alexander Zverev, winning against Alexander Zverev here again, back-to-back years. I mean, Zverev's only lost 3 times in the Manolo Santana Stadium at the Madrid Open throughout his entire career, and twice of them have been against Francisco Cerundolo. So it's great to see that he's able to sort of build on the momentum that he created in Monte Carlo and sort of continued on a little bit in Munich. Obviously lost to Ben Shelton in Munich, but played some great tennis in that match nonetheless. I think he's one of those players who's a bit underrated as well going into Roland Garros, where he could probably make a deep run if his draw is quite good. He's definitely racking up the points under his belt right now, so he's definitely having a better season than most people would have expected compared to how he ended last season. Coming into this match, the head-to-head is 1-0 for Francisco Cerundolo against Jakub Mensik. They met, I believe, in Beijing last year, and Francisco won that one in straight sets. That being on a hard court, this one being on a clay court, I think it just helped Francisco a little bit more. So I expect the head-to-head to be 2-0, quite honestly, but Mensik has made drastic improvements since their last meeting, so I wouldn't be shocked if there is an upset or whether this match goes to a very tight 3 sets. But in the end, I think the clay expertise and the ability of Francisco to rack up some big wins or play some good matches against some big name players that got on this surface, such as he did against Carlos Alcaraz for at least that first set in Monte Carlo, will allow him to get some momentum and really take control of this match at times. With that said, Mensik can definitely, pull off an upset. He beat Novak Djokovic in the Miami final, so definitely can win any match he plays. But I think Francisco gets himself the win here and gets himself into the semi-finals.